Hi Primary 1! This week we're continuing our measuring challenges with measuring water to see how much something can hold. And what we'd like you to do is to make some predictions, which means to make a guess about what things you think are going to hold a lot and what things you think are going to hold a little, and then to do some experiments to find out if you were right. So I'm going to show you what I got up to and then it's your turn. I have chosen 4 items to start with today, but you can choose as many as you like. And the first job is to try and put them into order from which one you think is going to hold the most all the way down to which one's going to hold the least. Now it's quite tricky to predict because some of these things might not be as tall as others, but they might be wider and maybe they could fit more that way. And that's why we're doing this as an experiment. I am not sure which one of these two is going to hold the most, because as much as this is quite tall, it's not that wide, and this one actually gets wider as it goes down. So I'm not sure about these two. I think it might be this one, so I'll put that first. Then this one's very shallow, it's very little, so I'm going to put that at the very end as the one that I think is going to hold the least. But then there's this mug, and actually it's really wide. I still think that this tall glass might hold more than this, but I could be wrong, so I'm going to have to investigate. Okay, so this is my order, and now it's time to find out. I've got a tray because I am very messy, as many of you will know, and I spill things quite a lot too. So I'm going to put my things in the tray before I get any water out. Do you think this order's right? Or would you have done it a different way? Well, it's time for us both to find out. Okay, now you will spot I have filled all of my things up with water, and now it's time for us to investigate and see if we were right. I've got a jug. Now this happens to be a measuring jug, and so it's actually got numbers up the side that we can use to tell how much liquid is in something. But any jug or any big bowl will be fine as long as you've got a way to mark how much water was in each. So I have got a wipeable pen, and a felt tip pen would be great for this too because it will wipe off after. Okay, the first job is to take my item that I think holds the most and to pour it into the jug. Okay, I have poured all the water out of the glass that I think holds the most, and I've put a little mark on the jug to show where it comes up to. So now we have to test if it really did hold the most. One way to do this is to go to the item that you think holds the next most and see if all the water from that one fits inside your one that you think's bigger. Of course, you need to do this on something that will catch the water if you're wrong, and it's a great way to find out. Okay, so let's try that just now. Now we can see that there was more water in the first one because I have poured all the water from the second one in here, and there's still lots of room. Now I've tipped out all the water in my jug and poured in all the water from item number 2, and you can see it's a lot less than that first item we tested. So far we're right. For item number 3, I'm going to do that first test and see if all the water from here can fit in here. Now I'm not sure about this one. If this one's actually bigger than this one, this water is going to overflow. So I've got my tray ready to catch it. That was very close though. Can you see how full it is? I wonder if they almost hold exactly the same. Now we've poured it into the measuring jug, you can see they were exactly the same. So they actually need to go next to each other because they hold the same amount, even though they're completely different shapes. This one is much wider, but the other one was taller. For our last one, I think we can be quite confident that this one will have the least. And we can check by pouring it into our cup, and you can see it's a tiny amount in the bottom. Now if I pour it into our measuring jug, you can see just how little it holds. You see that level right at the bottom? It's a tiny amount of water that this dish holds because it's very shallow and it's not very high off the ground. If we look back at our order now then, we can see this big glass does hold the most. And looking back at our marks on our jug, we can see by quite a lot. It filled it all the way up to here. But these two ones are completely different shapes, but they hold exactly the same amount. And we were quite confident that this little dish here holds the least. I hope you have fun experimenting with water. See what different shaped objects you can find.